Yes, welcome back to Business Growth Central. As always, I'm Nigel Bottrell, founder of Entrepreneur Circle.
I'm Cameron Bottrell, Managing Director here at Entrepreneur Circle.
And I'm Elliott Bottrell, the Chief Marketing Officer here at Entrepreneur Circle.
Get ready, everybody, because this episode is all about your leads and how to get high-quality leads that actually want and can afford what you have to offer. We're going to be covering massive mistakes that most people almost always make. We're going to be covering quick fixes that you can do today to instantly up the quality of leads that you're getting, and a few little hidden gems that we've discovered over the years of running our own business and helping so many tens of thousands of businesses to improve the lead quality that they have. So, let's jump in, shall we? Elliott, you are obviously our Chief Marketing Officer. You, no doubt, have loads of ideas on how to improve the quality of leads. So why don't you start? What's your best idea? Oh, hold that thought, Elliott.
Whoa.
A business owner needs help. They've sent in a scroll.
Let's have a look. A scroll on leads. Is it from Daniel Farr?
I assume that's
From
Maybe
Marcelo
Dominic,
Bielsa.
it's Dominic Calvert-Lewin. It's from Andrew. Andrew runs a web design business
Oh, thank goodness.
in Leeds. No. He says, I've been running ads. Well done, Andrew. And I'm getting plenty of inquiries.
Yes.
Nice. The problem is the quality. Oh, Andrew. They either want everything done for peanuts or clearly aren't the right fit for what I offer. So I don't need more leads. I need better ones. Any advice, guys?
Wow. Let me tell you, we've all been there, Andrew. Goodness gracious. My personal highlight, I remember we were running a marketing campaign for our coaches. So we were actually looking to reach out to people who wanted to become a certified Entrepreneur Circle coach.
Yes.
And so the marketing was all about, becoming a coach. And we got a couple of great leads from this one guy, very persistent, who really wanted to, he wanted to apply. And he sent this thing, and it became very clear, reading his application, that he had tremendous experience driving people all up and down the country. He'd worked for Megabus. He'd worked for Johnson's Coaches. And he saw the word coach and was a coach driver, and so blindly filled in the form. And I think that's probably indicative of what Andrew's talking about here.
Okay.
When you get leads who just have no purpose, no right to fill in your forms and become leads in your own business. So how do we fix that? And I guess, now that the alarm stopped, perhaps you can actually share some wisdom about it, because obviously being in marketing, I'm sure, how is our lead quality, would you say?
Our lead quality is good, but it's always varying. You see, as a business owner, as a marketer, we are constantly dealing with what I call the lead quality paradox. Whereas that, first as businesses, we generally, especially in the early stages, we want more leads.
Yeah.
And the annoying thing about the world, about universe, reality, is that the actions we take to increase the volume of leads that we get typically reduce the quality of them, because all the actions we normally do to get more involve typically removing friction and making it as easy as possible for people to opt in. And by doing so, we often welcome in people that are not so good. And so we've got plenty of tactics, and we're going to dive into all of them, but I must address something first, guys. And a lot of people complain about lead quality, but they do not, or have never, clarified what a quality lead is in their business.
Wow.
They just have had some conversations, and some people haven't bought straight away.
True.
And they just decide this must be
The
terrible
cheek
quality.
of these people to not instantly buy off me the first time I offer them anything, honestly, low quality leads.
Exactly.
No, but you joke, but that is subconsciously.
Well, and
lots of
especially
people
when
think-
you have a business that has been running smoothly on referrals, on word of mouth, where actually the people coming to them are ready to buy. They're inbound inquiries. You do a bit of outbound marketing, run a few ads, whether it's on Google, on Facebook, on Instagram, whatever. Put an ad in the yellow pages if you want to be super retro. But then suddenly the people that come in, the people who respond to your ads, aren't at that stage yet. They're not at that ready to buy stage. You're starting them from way back here. And so actually, suddenly you think, oh God, these people are rubbish. They're not hot to trot like my usual prospects are. And actually it's about that little recalibration. So
Yeah, it's very true. And I would say it's probably one of the definitive lessons of business. And as you grow through a business and you go through this cycle, it's a painful point for a lot of people. And I would say it's the root cause of why a lot of businesses end up staying small, because they're used to these referrals, they're used to customers converting easily. And then when they reach a point where they now need to branch out and invest in more advertising, invest in different marketing, all of a sudden the conversations are very different. Yeah. And a lot of people, that's difficult. and they don't like difficult, and therefore they stop spending, they don't put in the effort, they rely on the referrals, and the business, it kind of just stays there. So it's a very important thing to get sorted and to crack through. And so the first thing is like defining what is a quality lead. And so the way I approach this generally is to begin to look inside the business and begin to look at your customers that are already there, that are very good. And so if you take your, let's say, top 20% of your customers, what you want to do then is begin to almost list them out on a piece of paper or a spreadsheet and start to identify the different qualities of them. What is it about these customers that makes them so good? What are the attributes that they have? And generally, you begin to do this, and almost immediately you'll start to spot some beautiful commonalities.
So what sort of things, when you talk about attributes and things, what sort of things would you be looking at on that list?
A great question. So when I remember doing this for my agency, and I started listing out things such as, obviously, the industry of the business that I was working with, how long they'd been in business, how many staff they had, what their annual revenues were, what their customer lifetime value was, what their customer acquisition cost was, what their capacity for conducting follow-up and stuff was. All key things that, as it related to what I did in my role.
So if you were Andrew,
were key.
web design, business, so you're building websites for people, all that jazz, I guess. So you'd look at what makes a great customer, what criteria do they have? Is it that they will have a big project that they want to get on? Is it that they, have a clear vision of what they want? Or is it that, they're doing, is it like a business that is established but has a terrible, brand design and everything like that? And actually there's some quick wins there. All sorts of different things that make a good lead versus a not good lead, which in a lot of cases will come down in a big part to budget, right? Because Andrew talks about people who want stuff done cheap as chips. And actually, so a good quality lead for Andrew is someone who is willing and able to spend X amount on their website, for example, right?
Yeah, precisely. That budget is a key one. Making sure the person has the authority to make the decision is another thing that we look for, because we've all had it when you get on a call with someone and they love the thing, but then, I've got to go tell the boss about this. I've got to go and sell someone else, the higher ups. So you want to make sure the person you're speaking with actually is going to be able to make the decision. The need that they have for this thing is also very key. Like, what is their genuine reason right now for even wanting this? Is it like a thing they've heard about and, it might be a nice to have? Or are they, do they have a bleeding neck and actually really need to get this solved right now? And also, people's timelines for getting stuff done can be very different. And, most what are typically high quality leads want to get this thing done right now, right? They have very short timelines, whereas others might be browsing because they're eyeing this up 2, 3, 4, 6 months in.
And that doesn't, and that timeline, that's interesting, because I think for me, one of the mistakes a lot of people make when it comes to, they talk about the quality of their leads, what they're typically mean is that these people are not ready to buy now. Now, in actual fact, they could be a really high quality lead who's going to buy in a few months' time. All you've got to do is nurture them and look after them.
Exactly.
And then it's a lead that's arrived today, but it's going to feed you tomorrow or a few months down the line. Not all quality leads are ready to buy straight away. That's my point.
Precisely that. 3% on average per market are ready to buy right now, which leaves a very, very big majority that can still have all the characteristics of a good lead, but actually they're just going to buy a bit later on. So that's the second key thing before we dive into the lead quality tactics, is the follow-up, because actually most people's follow-up is just not that good. And so again, they think these leads are ignoring them or are not taking action, but the real reason is they've sent a couple of emails and are just hoping that has done enough.
Yeah.
And we know for a fact that the majority of sales happen between the 5th and the 12th follow-up.
My favorite, when people are like, I called the lead. They didn't even know who I was. They couldn't even remember filling in this form. It's like, oh gosh, when did they fill in the form? Oh, well, it was 3 weeks ago. Oh, and what have you sent them? Well, nothing. I was giving them time to read my brochure that they downloaded. Okay, great. Well, guess what? No one can remember what they clicked on an hour ago, let alone 3 weeks ago. And so you're so right. And this is, if you're in a business with a separate marketing team and a separate sales team, then you'd be very familiar with this concept constant battle because the sales team will always complain, oh, the lead quality is rubbish, and the marketing will always say, you're not calling them fast enough, da, 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 da. And so getting that balance right is key. So the first bit of homework, I guess, is mapping out what is a quality lead so that you know what you're aiming for. And the second bit of homework...
he's got to be sensible there, hasn't he, Andrew? Because he's got to be intelligently thoughtful around what his answer to that is, because if he instinctively answers that as someone with £5,000 to spend on a new website this week, he's setting himself up for a hard life.
Very true.
So he just needs to be a little bit thoughtful about what that
and
means.
so when you think of a quality lead, but in Andrew's case, it might be that it's a business, an established business who has a budget of £5,000 to spend on their website and is looking to upgrade their website in the next 6 months.
Yes, but that would be there. I would stretch it a little bit wider. I would not. It would be very difficult. It would be very difficult for him to get budget this early in the process. So a better measure initially for him would be to understand. So it would be a business of a certain size, typically. So the business would have a certain level of turnover, who are spending an amount of money on marketing. Because if I'm a web developer, I'm in the marketing space, and someone that inquires about a new website who is already spending, and I can see this because they're running Google ads or they're running Facebook ads, or I see them in the paper, whatever it may be. But I know that these people are spending money on marketing, so they understand the importance of marketing, and they're a 7-figure business, and they've been going for 10 years. Now starting to get something. Now this is a high quality lead. This, and I'll spend time nurturing this person. I'll be useful and helpful to them, because at some point they are going to spend. They are spending money in my space, and at some point,
and maybe that's the metric to look at this all through, is actually what criteria do you want to put on people that you would not loathe the fact that you're going to spend the next 2, 3, 6 months following up with them, because they're the right person, right, and put under that kind of criteria. What then makes a high quality lead? So setting that out is number one, and then homework piece number two is actually just taking a look at the follow-up that you've got in place to make sure actually the problem isn't you, and that actually you're doing this.
And it's interesting because we introduced Genie AI in as a product that we make available to our customers and to members of Entrepreneur Circle. And we introduced that, gosh, nearly 3 years ago now, because for the first kind of 12 or 13 years of Entrepreneur Circle's life, what we were doing is teaching people and showing people and training people how to, for instance, do follow-up. But actually executing it and implementing it, it was frustrating for us how few people actually did it properly. And we put Genie AI in place because now what we can do is drop straight into a business like a genuinely world-class follow-up system and workflow that we can fix this like literally in the morning. And it's where so many of our Genie AI customers have seen, really kind of not quite instant, but very rapid payback, because all we've done is fix their follow-up. So there aren't any more leads. We've just started to follow up with the leads they've got, and within a few weeks they're starting to get much better lead flow and people coming back, because it's not just about the volume of follow-up. We're not puking on these people. So it's the actual messaging needs to be thought through. We can be useful and helpful and interesting, and
gosh, we could do a whole episode on follow-up, couldn't we?
We could.
But let's not make that today's episode. We're focusing on lead quality. So I guess once you've got those two things nailed, then it comes down to actually, so let's get to the nitty-gritty. Let's get into the fun tactics around how you can actually boost your lead quality, instantly.
Let me give everyone a beautiful, quick tactic that literally takes 2 minutes to implement if you're using the right system. So in Genie AI now, which we use for all of our marketing, when we have the opt-in form, so the form someone fills out to become a lead, and we capture their email and phone number, what we do, there's a setting, and it's called validate email, validate phone number. And when you tick that box, what it does is when someone is filling out the form, it forces them to receive a one-time code to their email and to their phone that they have to put in order to actually become a lead. Now, this is beautiful because it weeds out all of the people that try and put in spammy email and spammy phone. And so you immediately filter out a lot of the poor quality leads, and you get verified emails and phones, which means all of your follow-up is way more responsive and the conversion is better as a result.
And two things have happened there. So first of all, you've eliminated the kind of spammy side of things. But secondly, you've got more thoughtful prospects because they've had to go and retrieve the code and put it in the form. They are more deliberate and thought through. So there'll be less of the not remembering that I filled you form. Doesn't mean it eliminate it completely, but there'll be less of it. And that, as you say, that it's a really good point, actually, because it really is 2 minutes to implement.
Literally. So quick win number 1.
Tick a box.
Get the email and phone validation on.
Nice.
Bosh.
Well, let's talk about forms then. Because there's quite a lot of stuff you can do around your form. You're getting leads. The way you get a lead, someone's filling in a form somewhere, right? You're putting that on a landing page, maybe a Facebook lead form within the platform, whatever it might be, but someone's filling in their details into a form. And if the people filling in that form are not the right people, well, guess what? We can use the wonderful gift of the form itself to help us weed those people out.
Yeah.
If a business is struggling to get leads and they pull up their landing page, I would honestly, if someone's struggling with volume, almost certainly they show this form and it's got like 17 questions. They're asking everyone for their flipping first name, last name, email, phone, home address, postcode, date of birth, national insurance number, billing address, shipping address, all separate. That are all these different things. And all they're doing is downloading a brochure. You just need their email address, bosh, done, that's it. And so when you are trying to get volume, the name of the game, as you said earlier, is reducing friction. And you want to make it as easy as possible for people to give you their details. And so you want to have as few fields as you can on the form. And we spend a lot of time telling people, reduce the number of fields, because statistically, like when you do the research, when you do the tests, every field that you add basically wipes out 10% of people who would otherwise fill in that form.
Yeah, it's as a broad rule, the more fields you ask people to fill in,
questions you ask for,
the less volume of leads you will get. So on the opposite side of things, if you only ask for a couple
when you're going for quality over quantity, when your problem shifts and it's no longer I'm not getting enough leads, it's I'm not getting good enough leads, then it's like, guess what? We can start to pull that back a little bit. And so the easiest thing you can do is add a few more questions to your form. Because you know who doesn't fill out your form because it's got 4 questions instead of 3? The high quality prospects who really want what you've got and who are actually invested in this. And so adding a few more questions, a few more relevant questions will almost always weed this out. We had this a lot in one of our previous businesses called Lead Cycle, when we used to run Facebook ads for many hundreds of businesses. And we used to run Facebook lead ads exclusively. So on Facebook, it's a type of campaign that you can run. People click the ad and a form appears within Facebook, pre-filled with their Facebook details, and they can hit go and you get the details, they get what they want, they move on with their day. A beautiful little campaign setup because you don't need to worry about landing pages and web design and all. Sorry, Andrew, no web design needed here, but it's nice and straightforward to do. But it's so easy to fill in these forms because you click the thing and a lot of people click the submit button rather than the close button because it's the bigger button, and so suddenly you get these details. And we found that the easiest way to filter these people out is literally just add one question, one qualifying question, which can be as simple in Andrew's case as, are you looking for a new website? Like, yes, no. Are you interested in a website? Something as open-ended as that. Yes, no.
Yeah, or he could go deeper. He could have a little drop down with a budget are you looking to spend on your website? For instance,
yes. That even just one simple question actually will do wonders for your lead quality because it will weed out a lot of random people. And even if they do fill in the form, if they say no, well, that's great. We don't have to spend too much time on them. We can focus on the ones that say yes. What you can then do is you can then actually add in more questions to help identify your high-value, high-quality leads that the stuff we identified earlier. So you can start to ask for things like your budget and actually your timelines and things like that. And if you're really smart about it, what you can do is you can ask people questions and then based on their answers, treat them differently. And this is something that we've seen tremendous success with. It's a little bit technical, but actually when you ask a qualifying question and then using the power of technology, you can actually send people to different thank you pages, depending on the answer that they've given you. And then, again, when you're being really smart about it, you can use your Facebook pixel. You can use your actual marketing tracking tools like the pixels there, and you can optimize all your campaigns for the thank you page that the good people get sent to. And this is you talked about this at the last convention, I believe, didn't you?
Absolutely, yeah. We call it pixel conditioning, where we strategically only send back the events to Facebook and our other ad platforms from the leads that we know are good, as defined by the answers to the qualifying questions in our forms. And it's gone from being a nice-to-have advanced thing to really being a prerequisite. And so anyone running any kind of Facebook campaigns, we genuinely recommend that as the best practice, because the mighty algorithms do a great job at finding you whatever it thinks it is tracking. And if it tracks everyone, it's going to just find you everyone. And by default, you'll get a bunch of low quality people as well, because statistically, unfortunately, reality coming at us again, most people would fall into the low quality bucket for the majority of businesses. So we're going after a smaller number. So we do need to do things that move the needle in our favor, and training the algorithm, as we like to call it, massively helps. So that is a very good key tactic. One of the less advanced things though, and where a lot of people actually go terribly wrong when it comes to lead quality, is their messaging. Because how you position your business greatly determines who is going to interact with it. And I have lost count of the amount of times I have seen people running these ads with these crazy 80% discounts and having, cheap and all sorts of other language in their ads and landing pages, which just by the very nature attracts the certain type of consumer. And so if you want to increase lead quality, that's one thing, but making sure your messaging is actually congruent and coherent with that is another, because that's one of the most powerful things.
Yeah, and what's implicit in Andrew's question, and we haven't seen Andrew's website, or indeed I don't know where the leads that he's talking about, where they're coming from. But Andrew, if we were to walk kind of 20 yards in that direction, I've got a huge graphic on the wall. It's 37 feet long. And it says, Andrew, it's all your fault. Wherever your business ends up is 100% your responsibility. And this is quite important for you in the context of this question, because you are doing something, Andrew. You're transmitting all your kind of pheromones and hormones and oil that is attracting these people that you don't want to get. The vibes and the message you're sending out to the world, and it may be implicit rather than explicit. I do get that, but it's important for you to understand that if you are getting people that want everything done for peanuts or are not the right fit for what you offer, there's things you're doing that is attracting those people.
It's very true. It's very true. And the messaging we are just seeing now is by far the biggest influencing factor. And I'll let you in on a little secret, a little messaging secret. By default, I think a lot of us think the more crazy, bombastic our offer is, the more majestic and the higher number of discount or whatever it might contain makes it more compelling. More often than not, it actually makes it way less compelling, especially to high caliber prospects. And so what we really focus on in our business is understanding what our high quality prospects actually think and what their problems are and what their very specific situations that they are living through right now are, so that we can speak to that in all of our advertising. Because if you can really clearly articulate the exact circumstance someone is in right now with such a level of detail that they feel you really understand them, that is more compelling than just 90% off flash sale kind of thing. And it leads you to the right people, and it almost by default eradicates a lot of the bad people as well.
Yeah. I mean, the other piece around quality leads, I mean, we've produced a lot of content here at Entrepreneur Circle about what you have to do and how differently you have to position yourself to attract customers who are, how shall I put it, less price sensitive. For whom the price they're paying is not the most important thing. It's not unimportant, but there are other things that they value most. And how do you position yourself in a way that makes you, Andrew, attractive to the business that you want? And we run whole days worth of training and stuff on this. Because I'll tell you now that there's a broad brush approach to it. Individuals and businesses indeed that have got what they're looking for when they've got a problem. They're looking for their go-to guy or gal to fix it.
It's so true. I actually think that there's a lot we can do around the messaging on our forms, on our ads, on the stuff that we put out on our website.
So actually, before you even get to the forms, just to be clear.
On the website itself, on the page itself. And I think one of the best tactics you can do, people are a bit scared to be a bit too overt in pushing people away. But actually, one of the strongest marketing messages you can do is, instead of trying too hard to attract the right people, if you push away the wrong people, it will draw the right people into you, because they can see, they also know that who wants a website for £20? That's mental. Like they'll be drawn into, if your website, Andrew was talking about how, we don't do cheap template websites. We do bespoke, custom, jobs that do things properly. For example, like the fact that you say we don't do this, that, and the other, or or if you're looking for, a bargain bin website, this is not the place for you. For the right people, they'll feel, oh, great, I found the right place there, because I'm not looking for that.
Yeah, so, and again, content on the website, following Marcus Sheridan's methodology around they ask you answer, having a good knowledge centre that answers the big 5 questions will help to raise the quality of your leads, because people will consume stuff. It will push away, as you say, that the people that, in Andrew's case, he doesn't want.
You said one of my favourite words just then, consumption.
Ooh.
You see, when we think of leads that are amazing quality, let's look at a referral lead that normally is one of the best quality because they've been referred to us by normally a trusted source to them. And they engage with us because they know who we are, they know what we do, and they kind of are ready to buy. And so one of our favorite strategies in our marketing is to actually create assets, videos, documents. That's why we do a lot of live events, where we can enable people to actually voluntarily consume loads of information about us before they even opt in. And by doing so, their quality kind of goes up because they are now primed and ready, and they become much more like a referral lead.
So in Andrew's case, he's probably asking for the lead too early, because asking too early, he's getting lower quality. If actually, the classic thing, the best way to show people that you can help them is to actually help them. And one of the ways that we can all as business owners help our potential customers is by making them more knowledgeable and expert and giving them information, so which when they consume will pull them closer to us, and we ask for the leads at the right time, right? I mean, we give away a lot of stuff now that 45 or 10 years ago we were asking for an email address before we gave it to you, but there's a reason for that. And everything kind of moves over time, but I'd much rather more people have it for free. They're not leads at that point. In volume terms, they'd be
They're leads in waiting.
They'd be, well, that's nice, yeah. They're lower quality, but I don't even know they are at that point. We're putting the information out there. They can consume it. Those that are higher quality will come back for more because the way we structured it and working it through. So again, a lot of this, Andrew, his back of this is on your shoulders in terms of just thinking a little bit about this.
Yeah.
I just think there's an analogy here. I hope this works. In my head, this is really clear, but that doesn't always mean it comes out
here
clear.
We go.
The other side. No, I think this is it's like food and nutrition. Is this Andrew's entire question is like food and nutrition, because what he wants is really high quality, nutritious food, but what he's getting is all really kind of fast food, processed food, cheap food. That's what he's getting, and it's not the food he wants. And the way to get nutritious food that's going to be healthy for him, you have to do a few things differently, and to some extent you have to pay more for better ingredients. You have to invest more time to prepare the meals. You can't just, if you buy the ready meal from the supermarket, it's not as nutritious typically as the food that you would make yourself. And there's a little, in my head it's working really well, is this, but there's a
funny place your head, isn't it?
I think it's good analogy.
Yeah,
good
great analogy. Top-notch analogy.
Oh, you both need a sincere pill. Sorry, Andrew, I was trying, Andrew, for you there. I'm sorry.
Look, I think, goodness gracious, what an action list.
Action list, yeah. Prerequisites: define what lead quality means to you.
Boom.
Make sure you've got proper follow-up in place.
Fundamental.
Then make sure you're validating emails and phones. Absolute quick wins.
Easy win.
Make sure you're getting qualifying questions in. And make sure if someone is unqualified, you don't actually let them book in. Because that's what a lot of people still do, is they gather the information and let the person still take up time in their calendar. You have to take a bravery pill at the start, because I know every lead is precious, but, be strong, do it. And then make sure your messaging is on point. And remember the nutrition analogy.
Remember that nutrition analogy, Andrew. That'll see you through. Just remember, fast food, nutritious food, lead quality. There it is.
I'm going back to Leeds United.
Okay, go on then. Oh, wow. Well, if you have a question like Andrew that you'd like our help with, perhaps a great analogy to assist you in your business, ping an email to podcast@entrepreneurscircle.org, and we'd be delighted to provide exactly that. Goodness gracious.
Ladies and gentlemen.
We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.